The night sky above Earth was calm, filled with stars that had shone for billions of years. But hidden among them, something unnatural moved. It wasn't a comet or a drifting rock. It was a fleet. A fleet of ships so large, so silent, that even the most advanced telescopes had only caught glimpses. They were not from Earth. They had come from the deep dark of space, and they were watching. For days, strange signals struck the satellites orbiting Earth. At first, the scientists thought it was interference. But soon the pattern grew clear. It wasn't random. It was language. A language full of sharp tones and threats. Translated, it was simple: submit or be destroyed. The world leaders gathered in secret. They argued, they doubted, they feared. Humanity had never faced something like this. These were not friends, not explorers, not allies seeking peace. These were conquerors. And they had chosen Earth as their next target. In the deep ocean, in deserts, in mountains, and in hidden stations across the world, humanity's secret preparations began. Earth had been warned long ago that one day, someone might come. For decades, quietly and carefully, engineers and soldiers had built weapons not for each other, but for the unknown. The world had never spoken of it openly, but the project had always been there, a last line of defense, forged from human fear and determination. Now, it was time to use it. The alien fleet grew closer every hour. Cities watched the skies with fear. News channels filled screens with strange images of colossal ships hovering at the edge of the solar system. People prayed. Others panicked. Some refused to believe. But the fleet kept coming. And then, on the third day, Earth received a final message. The voice was cold, metallic, full of confidence. "We are the Tarlith Dominion. Your world now belongs to us. Kneel or burn." The words echoed across every communication channel. No one could escape hearing it. Children in schools, soldiers in barracks, farmers in fields, everyone heard the same threat. Silence fell after. Silence, and then the sound of human hearts beating with fear, and with anger. The leaders of Earth gathered once again. Many wanted to negotiate, to beg for time. But others reminded them of history. Whenever humanity was threatened, it had risen, no matter the cost. The choice was made. There would be no surrender. Earth would answer. But how could humans fight such giants? The alien fleet was massive, their weapons beyond human imagination. Even the bravest soldiers wondered if it was possible. Yet, humanity had one thing the invaders didn't. One weapon stronger than lasers or cannons. One weapon born not from steel, but from willpower. It was the human spirit. And hidden in Earth's darkest bases, there were weapons no one outside the highest circles even knew existed. Ships built not for show, but for survival. Machines designed by the brightest engineers, powered by technology that had been secretly tested for years. They were not many, but they were deadly. And more than ships, they carried humans, the same species that had crossed oceans, climbed mountains, and survived wars that should have broken them. When the alien fleet reached the edge of Earth's moon, humanity finally answered. Across every screen, every radio, every signal, a single voice spoke. The message was short. "This is Earth. We do not kneel." The words shocked even the people of Earth. For the first time, billions felt united. For the first time, humanity stood as one. The aliens had expected fear. Instead, they were met with defiance. As the alien ships moved closer, preparing to strike, the hidden bases on Earth opened their gates. Underground silos, mountain hangars, ocean platforms, all released something into the skies. They were not ordinary war machines. They were the guardians of Earth. One by one, they rose, sleek, dark, powerful ships, glowing with energy. Their hulls carried scars from endless tests, their weapons hummed with dangerous light. Each one bore the names of old legends, names that carried weight: Spartan, Hannibal, Achilles, Yamato, Arjuna. Names chosen to remind everyone that humanity had always produced warriors who stood against the impossible. Billions watched from Earth as their champions took flight. Children pointed at the screens with wide eyes. Soldiers saluted. Ordinary people felt tears burn their faces. Hope, fragile but fierce, returned. The alien fleet slowed for a moment, as if surprised. Then, without warning, their first shot was fired. A blazing beam cut through space, aimed directly at Earth's defenders. But before it could strike, one of the human ships darted forward with impossible speed. Shields flared, metal screamed, but the ship held. Humanity's warning had just been delivered. The defenders were not running. They were fighting. The battle for Earth had begun. The first alien shot burned across the void like a sun made of fire. It slammed into the shield of the human ship that had dared to stand in its way. The hull groaned, alarms screamed, and energy rippled across the armor plates. But the ship did not fall. It held steady, blocking the strike meant to crush Earth's hope in one single blow. The people of Earth watched in silence. For a second, the planet seemed to stop breathing. Then, the human ship powered its cannons and fired back. A beam of pure light tore through space, cutting across the black sky. It hit one of the alien cruisers. The explosion was blinding. A giant metal beast of the Tarlith fleet broke apart, fire spilling into the cold void. For the first time, the conquerors bled. The humans cheered. In homes, in bases, in bunkers, people screamed with joy. The impossible had happened. The invincible enemy had been struck. But victory was far away. The alien fleet roared back. Dozens of warships shifted formation, weapons blazing. Red and silver beams lanced out, hundreds at once, filling the dark with deadly storms. The human fleet answered. Dozens of Earth's guardians spread their wings, moving with speed no alien had expected. The first battle of the war began in full force. The Spartan spun through the storm, its engines glowing blue as it launched a swarm of missiles. The Hannibal charged head-on, shields burning bright, cannons firing in every direction. The Achilles danced like lightning, striking from angles no alien computer could predict. These were not just machines. They were extensions of their crews, humans who had trained in silence, who had waited for this moment. On Earth, the voice of the fleet commander echoed across every channel. His name was Admiral Kale, a man known for his cold calm and unshaken will. He had faced many wars on Earth, but this one was greater than all. Humanity does not bow, his voice thundered. We fight. We endure. We win. Every word became fire in human hearts. Soldiers clenched their fists. Children whispered the lines. Even those who had doubted now believed. Humanity had found its steel. But the Tarlith Dominion was no weak enemy. For every alien ship that burned, more pressed forward. Their weapons were brutal, their shields strong. Human ships fell too. The Arjuna was struck by 3 beams at once, shields collapsing in a storm of fire. The ship's crew fought to the last, their voices steady as they rammed into an alien battleship, destroying both in a single blaze. The sacrifice shook Earth. People cried, not from fear, but from pride. The aliens thought humans would surrender when they saw death. Instead, the fallen became symbols. Every loss was fuel. Every scar was strength. As the hours passed, the space near Earth's moon became a graveyard of broken ships. Alien wreckage drifted alongside human steel. Neither side gave way. The Dominion fought with cold calculation. Humanity fought with fire, with rage, with the will to live free. And then, in the middle of the chaos, something unexpected happened. A small human scout ship, hidden among the battle, managed to slip past the alien front line. It carried not weapons, but something more dangerous: knowledge. Scientists on board had been working in silence, listening to alien transmissions, studying their signals, their patterns, their commands. And they had found something. A weakness. The Tarlith fleet was powerful, but their strength came from one source. A command ship, massive and dark, sat far behind the main battle. It was the brain of the invasion, the heart of the fleet. Every alien ship drew coordination from it. If it fell, the rest might falter. The message raced back to Admiral Cale. His eyes narrowed. The choice was dangerous. Sending ships to strike the command vessel meant leaving the main fight weaker. But if they ignored it, Earth might fall. Cale gave the order. A small group of Earth's strongest ships turned away from the chaos and dived into the dark, engines burning brighter than stars. They aimed straight for the command ship. The aliens noticed too late. The Dominion thought humans would defend, would cling to safety. They did not expect a counterstrike into the jaws of death. The Achilles led the charge, weaving through fire, dodging death at every turn. The Hannibal shielded the others, taking the blows meant to stop them. The Spartan locked its cannons on the massive shadow of the alien command vessel. And then Earth struck. Missiles, beams, plasma fire, all rained upon the command ship. Its shields blazed, its armor cracked, its weapons screamed. But it did not fall. It was stronger than anything the humans had faced yet. The alien commander's voice filled the air, full of arrogance. You fight like insects, brave but weak. We will crush you, and your world will kneel. But humanity did not kneel. The Achilles pushed forward, too close now for safety. Its captain's voice came over the comms, steady and proud. For Earth. And the ship rammed into the alien command vessel with all its might. The explosion lit the void like a newborn star. The alien command ship shuddered, fire spilling across its hull. The human fleet roared, charging harder, striking with everything they had left. The battle was not over. But for the first time, the Tarlith Dominion knew fear. Humanity had given them a deadly warning. The explosion shook the battlefield. Fire lit the dark sky as the alien command ship trembled under the impact of the Achilles. Fragments of steel and plasma scattered across the void. For a moment, the entire alien fleet faltered. Their precise formation broke. Their weapons slowed. The conquerors who had come with pride and arrogance suddenly looked uncertain. On Earth, billions watched with wide eyes. The impossible had happened again. The humans had hurt the enemy's heart. Cheers erupted across cities, bunkers, and bases. Hope grew stronger. But the command ship did not fall. Smoke and fire burned across its hull, but its core still glowed with power. Systems rebooted. Weapons turned back online. The Tarlith commander, hidden within its armored walls, seethed with fury. Humans! The voice growled across the channels. You dare strike us? You dare resist? We will not just conquer your world. We will erase it. The alien fleet surged again. The pause was over. Now they fought with rage. Thousands of beams filled the sky. Human ships burned. Shields collapsed. The defenders fought desperately, but they were being pushed back. Admiral Cale stood on the bridge of the Spartan, his jaw set. He knew the truth. Humanity had scored a wound, but it was not enough. If the command ship survived, Earth would eventually fall. And yet, there was something in that moment of hesitation, something in the way the enemy had paused, that told him the Dominion was not unshakable. They could be broken. Cale gave new orders. Pull the fleet closer to Earth. Hold the line. Buy time. Every surviving human ship obeyed. They formed a shield wall between Earth and the Dominion. Engines burned. Cannons fired until barrels overheated. Pilots shouted through static-filled comms. They knew many would not return, but none turned away. Behind them, on Earth's surface, the secret defense bases worked without rest. Scientists studied the data from the Achilles' last attack. Engineers armed new weapons. Satellites scanned the Dominion's movements, searching for the smallest flaw. Humanity was not giving up. Humanity was preparing for the next strike. Far above, the alien commander watched with cold eyes. They resist harder than expected, he admitted to his officers. But resistance is nothing. Fear will crush them. Their numbers will fade. Their spirits will break. Yet the commander did not understand humans. Fear had never broken them. Fear had always made them stronger. As the battle dragged on, a strange silence spread across the Dominion's fleet. Systems flickered. Ships drifted for seconds before regaining control. Confusion rippled through their formation. The humans had noticed it too. In a hidden lab deep beneath Antarctica, a group of scientists worked around the clock. They had cracked part of the Dominion's code. By sending bursts of false signals into space, they could disrupt the enemy's coordination for short moments. It was not a weapon of fire, but it was a weapon of mind. Admiral Kale seized the chance. Now! He roared. The human fleet struck as the aliens stuttered. The Hannibal unleashed a barrage of missiles. The Yamato fired its massive rail cannon, the shot piercing through 2 enemy cruisers at once. Fighters swarmed like angry hornets, slipping between giant ships, tearing holes in their armor. Earth roared with pride. Every screen showed the counterattack. Every person felt it. Humanity was not helpless. Humanity was dangerous. But victory was still far. The Dominion's numbers were overwhelming. For every ship destroyed, more loomed behind. Kale knew this was not a battle of ships alone. It was a battle of time. If Earth could survive long enough, maybe, just maybe, they could find the one blow that would end it. Then, a new signal reached Earth. A message from the Dominion, broadcast to every human ear. Earth, your courage is meaningless. We will send a second wave. Stronger, larger, endless. You cannot stop us. The words hit like ice. A second wave? The fleet they were fighting was not the full strength of the Dominion. It was only the beginning. For a moment, silence fell over Earth. People feared the truth. Could humanity survive against endless waves? But then, the answer came, not from leaders, not from soldiers, but from ordinary people. Across cities, voices rose. People shouted into the night sky, into cameras, into radios. Words filled the air. We do not kneel. It began as a whisper, then became a chant. Billions of voices, united, defiant. Even those hiding underground shouted it. Even those who had never fought before shouted it. The Dominion wanted to break their spirit, but instead, they had forged it into steel. Admiral Kale listened to the voices of his people. His eyes burned with fire. Then we fight, he said. We fight until the last ship. We fight until the last breath. And we show them what it means to threaten Earth. The Dominion thought they had seen humanity's warning. They had not seen it yet. The true storm was still coming. The battle was far from over. The battle near Earth's moon still raged. Wreckage floated everywhere, alien steel twisted with human iron, broken ships drifting in silence. But the fight was not slowing. The Dominion's fleet pressed on with endless fury, while Earth's defenders fought with every drop of strength they had left. Inside the command bridge of the Spartan, Admiral Kale studied the reports. Every screen showed losses, every voice brought news of another fallen ship. Yet he did not waver. He knew something now that the aliens had not intended to reveal. The fleet before them was only the first wave. A second, larger force was already on its way. Kale's face hardened. If we cannot destroy this fleet before the second arrives, Earth will fall, he told his officers. We need a strike that will shake them to their core. The officers exchanged uneasy looks. Their weapons had already been pushed to the limit. What more could they do? But Kale's eyes were steady. Humanity had always found a way, even at the edge of defeat. On Earth, deep in hidden research stations, the brightest minds were already working. Scientists who had spent decades preparing for the unknown now faced the greatest test of their lives. The enemy's command ship still burned from the Achilles sacrifice, but its core remained alive. That core, the scientists believed, was not just technology. It was alive, part machine, part living energy. If it could be disrupted, the entire Dominion fleet might collapse. The idea was dangerous. It required a weapon that could pierce not just armor, but the very mind of the command ship. And humanity had one possibility. A project that had been locked away, too unstable to ever use. A weapon called the Pulse. The Pulse was no missile, no cannon. It was a wave of energy designed to fry systems, to tear apart command networks, to disrupt even alien minds. But it came with a cost. It needed to be launched from close range. Too close. Whoever carried it would not return. When Cale heard the plan, he did not hesitate. "Prepare it," he ordered. The officers were silent. They knew what it meant. Another sacrifice, maybe the greatest yet. But none argued. Humanity had no choice. The Pulse was loaded onto a single ship, the Yamato, the oldest and strongest of Earth's fleet. Its captain, Commander Wren, stood tall as the weapon was armed. His voice carried calm pride. "If this is how I serve Earth, then I will not fear. Let the Dominion see what humans do when pushed to the edge." Across the planet, the people held their breath. News of the plan spread quickly. Some cried. Some prayed. Some shouted in rage. But all understood. The war was no longer about survival alone. It was about showing the universe that humanity would never bow. The final assault began. The Yamato pushed forward, breaking away from the human fleet. Its engines roared like thunder, driving it straight toward the Dominion's command ship. Alien beams rained down on it, fire tearing through its shields. The hull burned. Alarms screamed. Still, it did not stop. The human fleet fought desperately to clear its path. The Hannibal tore through alien cruisers, guns blazing. The Spartan absorbed shot after shot, refusing to break. Every surviving ship threw itself into the storm, carving a path for the Yamato. The Dominion commander laughed, voice filled with scorn. "Fools! Do you think one ship can defeat the Dominion? Do you think you can change your fate?" But the Yamato kept moving. Commander Wren's hands gripped the controls. Sweat dripped down his face, but his voice was steady as he sent his last transmission. "This is humanity's warning. We will never kneel." And then the Pulse was unleashed. A blinding wave of blue energy burst from the Yamato, expanding in every direction. It tore through the void, faster than light, unstoppable. Alien ships flickered, their systems crashing, their weapons falling silent. The command ship screamed as the wave ripped through its living core. Lights shattered. Energy collapsed. The once mighty heart of the Dominion burned with agony. The Yamato vanished in the blast, consumed by the very weapon it carried. But its sacrifice shook the stars. For a moment, silence filled the battlefield. The Dominion fleet drifted, broken, their perfect coordination shattered. Human ships seized the chance. They charged, striking with everything they had left. Missiles tore through battleships. Cannons shredded cruisers. The once invincible invaders began to fall like giants brought to their knees. On Earth, the people erupted with cheers and tears. The name Yamato was shouted across the planet. Songs and prayers rose for its crew. Humanity had struck back with a blow so fierce, even the Dominion could not ignore it. But Cale did not celebrate. His eyes stared at the wreckage, at the broken alien fleet still burning in orbit. He knew the war was not over. This was only the first wave. The second would come, stronger, angrier, determined to erase the insult humanity had delivered. And yet, Cale felt something new. Something the Dominion did not understand. Fear. Not in humans. In the enemy. The Tarlith Dominion had always seen humanity as weak, fragile, divided. But now they had seen what humans could do when united. They had seen the sacrifices, the fire, the refusal to kneel. And for the first time, the conquerors hesitated. The battle for Earth was far from finished. But the universe had just learned that humanity was not prey. Humanity was the storm. The battlefield near Earth was filled with wreckage. Alien ships drifted, burning and broken. Human ships floated too, scarred and battered, their numbers fewer but their spirits unshaken. The sacrifice of the Yamato had struck terror into the enemy, and for the first time in history, the Dominion had retreated. For a moment, Earth celebrated. Cities lit their skies with fire and song. Families embraced. Soldiers raised their flags. The name of the Yamato was carved into history as a legend. Humanity had survived the first wave. But Admiral Kale knew the truth. He stood on the command bridge of the Spartan, his hands behind his back, his eyes fixed on the stars. The Dominion had promised a second wave, stronger, larger, merciless. The quiet between battles was not victory. It was the silence before a storm. In the weeks that followed, Earth worked without rest. Factories thundered day and night, forging weapons and armor. Engineers repaired damaged ships and built new ones from the wreckage of both human and alien steel. Scientists studied the captured fragments of Dominion technology, searching for weaknesses. Across the planet, ordinary people joined the effort. Farmers sent food to soldiers. Miners dug rare metals for ships. Children carried supplies in underground shelters. For the first time in centuries, humanity was united, not by fear, but by defiance. The Dominion did not stay silent for long. Satellites detected the second wave before it arrived. It was larger than anyone imagined, hundreds of warships, colossal carriers, dreadnoughts glowing with energy. They filled the void like an endless swarm, blotting out the stars. When the news spread, fear returned. Some whispered that resistance was impossible. Others said humanity had already done enough. That survival was hopeless. But then the memory of the Yamato, the voices of billions shouting, "We do not kneel," returned. Fear turned into fire once more. The second wave entered the solar system with thunder. Their commander, a ruthless warlord named Vaer, spoke across all channels. His voice was cold, sharp like a blade. "Earth, you dared to resist the Dominion. You dared to wound us. For that, your punishment will be total. Not only will your world burn, but your name will be erased from the stars." His words echoed through every radio, every screen. But this time, humanity did not tremble. The people answered with one united shout. "We do not kneel." Admiral Kale listened to the roar of his people. He felt the weight of every soul on Earth pressing behind him. He knew this battle would decide everything. If they survived the second wave, humanity would not just live. They would be remembered as the species that defied giants. The fleets clashed. The sky near Mars became the new battlefield. Human ships launched from Earth, the Moon, and hidden stations across the system. They met the Dominion's second wave head-on. The battle was beyond anything the first wave had shown. Dominion dreadnoughts fired beams the size of mountains, tearing through human shields. Swarms of alien fighters darkened the void like locusts. The ground shook as orbital weapons fired from Earth's surface, streaking through the black like falling stars. The Spartan led the charge. The Hannibal carved paths through enemy swarms, its cannons blazing like storms. Newly built ships, forged from alien wreckage, joined the fight, sleek, hybrid machines that shocked the Dominion with their speed and firepower. But even with Earth's new strength, the second wave pressed hard. Human ships fell one by one, brave crews fighting until their last breath. The Dominion commander laughed, certain of his victory. Then, something unexpected happened. The Dominion's ships began to slow. Their formation broke. Confusion spread across their lines. The reason came quickly. Earth scientists had cracked more of their code. They had built new pulse weapons, smaller than the one on the Yamato, but strong enough to disrupt alien coordination in bursts. From hidden satellites and stealth ships, the pulses fired, scattering the Dominion fleets. Human captains seized every opening, striking hard, cutting down enemy ships like hunters tearing through a herd. The Dominion commander's voice turned to rage. "Enough. End them now. Burn their planet to ashes." Massive alien dreadnoughts turned their weapons toward Earth itself. Giant cannons charged, glowing like suns, ready to fire and destroy entire cities in one shot. Admiral Kale's eyes narrowed. This was it, the moment when everything could be lost. He gave a single order: all ships, shield Earth. No shot touches the planet. The human fleet obeyed without question. Ships threw themselves into the path of the dreadnought's beams. Shields flared. Armor shattered. Crews died in silence. But none gave way. On Earth, people looked up at the sky, watching streaks of fire as their defenders held the line. Fear burned in their hearts, but pride burned brighter. For the first time in history, they were not fighting each other. They were fighting as one world, one people, one species. The Dominion's dreadnoughts fired again and again, but the line held. Humanity bled, but humanity did not break. And then, from the edge of the system, a new light appeared. Massive ships, unlike any seen before, rose from the dark. At first, both humans and aliens stared in silence. Then the truth spread across every channel. They were human. These were the Legion-class ships, secret projects hidden in the deepest bases of Earth. Larger than anything humanity had shown before, powered by technology that had been kept hidden for decades. They had been waiting for the right moment. And now, they had come. The battle was about to change. The second wave battle was already fierce, but when the new ships appeared, the entire war shifted. The Legion-class ships emerged from the shadows of space, each one a giant compared to the rest of the human fleet. Their hulls glowed with strange patterns of light, forged from both human and alien materials. Their engines burned brighter than stars, their weapons hidden but humming with deadly promise. Billions on Earth stared at the screens, their eyes wide. They had never known these ships existed. For decades, governments had kept them secret, building them in silence, hidden deep under oceans and inside hollow asteroids. They were Earth's true trump card. The Dominion Commander Veyer's voice broke into a growl when he saw them. Impossible. Your world is fractured, weak. How could you build such power? But Admiral Kale knew the truth. Humanity had been preparing for this day longer than the Dominion believed. For centuries, humans had fought each other, spilling oceans of blood. Yet from that pain, they had learned, they had grown, and they had united in secret for the moment the stars brought a greater threat. The largest of the new ships, the Titanus, moved to the front. Its captain's voice carried across every human channel. This is Earth's fist. Let the Dominion feel our strength. The Titanus opened fire. From its hull, a massive beam of white light burst forward, thicker than any weapon humanity had ever used. It sliced through space like a blade, cutting straight into a Dominion dreadnought. The alien ship, proud and ancient, shattered in a single strike, breaking apart into burning fragments. The battlefield froze. For the first time, the Dominion saw not prey, not insects, but equals. And worse, predators. The human fleet roared forward, rallying behind the Legion class. The Spartan and Hannibal weaved around the giants, covering their flanks, while smaller fighters swarmed like angry sparks. Every human ship fought with new energy. The Dominion struck back with fury. Their second wave unleashed everything: planet burner beams, swarms of fighters, missiles glowing with strange energy. But the Legion class stood like mountains in the storm. Their shields bent but did not break. Their cannons fired in reply, each shot ripping holes into the enemy's pride. Still, the cost was high. For every alien ship destroyed, a human vessel was lost. Brave crews gave their lives to protect the giants. The Hannibal was struck by 3 beams at once, its engines failing. Its captain refused to abandon the fight, steering it into the path of an alien carrier. The collision lit the dark with fire, taking both ships with it. "Glory to Earth," were the last words from the Hannibal's bridge. The human fleet wept but did not falter. Every sacrifice only fueled their rage. The Dominion Commander Veyer howled across the channels. "You cannot win. Even if you kill us, more will come. The Dominion is endless." Admiral Kale's reply was calm, sharp like a blade. "Then let the endless fear the name of Earth." The Titanus and its sister ships, the Goliath and the Colossus, pushed forward. Their weapons hammered into the heart of the Dominion fleet. The pulse disruptors fired again, shattering the enemy's coordination. Human fighters darted through the chaos, striking like wolves among broken prey. Still, the battle dragged on. Hours turned into a day. The void near Mars became a burning graveyard, littered with the remains of both sides. Neither fleet gave way. Humanity refused to kneel, and the Dominion refused to accept defeat. Then came the turning point. The Colossus, already scarred and burning, detected something strange, an alien dreadnought charging its planet burner cannon, aimed not at Earth, but at the Titanus. If the Titanus fell, the entire human line would crumble. The captain of the Colossus made his choice. With engines failing and shields collapsing, he steered his ship directly into the path of the alien weapon. The dreadnought fired. The beams struck the Colossus, tearing through its hull. But instead of falling, the Colossus' last act was to fire every missile, every cannon, every drop of power it had left straight into the dreadnought's core. The explosion shook the entire battlefield. Both giants were destroyed in a single storm of fire. The loss broke hearts across Earth, but it also broke the Dominion's courage. Their dreadnoughts began to hesitate, their fighters pulled back in fear. Humanity had shown them again and again. There was no line too far, no sacrifice too great. Admiral Cale saw the hesitation. His voice thundered through the fleet. Now, push them back. Show them Earth's fury. The humans charged. The Titanus cut down 2 more Dominion carriers. The Spartan and smaller ships tore through fighters and cruisers. Missiles rained across the black, explosions lighting up the void like 1,000 suns. The Dominion fleet faltered. And then, in a moment no one expected, they began to retreat. The second wave, the mighty storm meant to erase Earth, was pulling back. Not because they lacked strength, but because for the first time in their empire's history, they feared an enemy they could not break. On Earth, billions wept, shouted, and prayed. For the second time, humanity had survived the impossible. The Dominion had been warned once. Now they had been wounded twice. But Admiral Cale did not smile. He knew what came next. The Dominion would not forget. They would return. And when they did, it would not be with a wave. It would be with the full fury of their empire. Still, as he looked out at the stars, Cale felt no fear. Humanity had proven something greater than survival. They had proven that no matter how endless the enemy, Earth would never kneel. The war was far from over. The greatest battle still waited. The silence after the second wave's retreat was heavy, almost unreal. Wreckage floated across the black sky like broken stars. Human ships drifted, scarred and battered, but still alive. Earth had survived again. On the ground, people cheered and wept. Songs filled the streets. Children shouted the names of ships that had become legends: Yamato, Hannibal, Colossus. For a moment, the world celebrated. But Admiral Cale did not. He stood on the bridge of the Spartan, watching the stars. He knew what was coming. The Dominion had not been destroyed. Twice they had been wounded, twice they had been forced back. And now, they would return not with waves, but with the full fury of their empire. The final battle was near. Weeks passed. Earth became a fortress. The scars of war turned into steel. Factories produced weapons faster than ever. New hybrid ships, forged from both human and alien wreckage, filled the docks. Pulse disruptors were refined, made stronger, sharper, deadlier. Every scientist, every engineer, every soldier gave everything. But even with all their preparation, when the Dominion finally came, the sight shook the world. The sky lit with shadows, an armada stretching across the void. Thousands of warships. Titans larger than mountains. Carriers releasing swarms of fighters like endless rivers of fire. The full Dominion fleet had arrived, blotting out the stars themselves. Commander Vair's voice filled the comms, colder than ice. Earth, you have shamed us twice. This insult ends today. Your world will not only fall, it will vanish. We will erase your name from history. None will remember humanity. On Earth, billions listened. Fear returned. Children held their parents. Soldiers gripped their weapons. The fleet in orbit trembled at the size of the force before them. Then Admiral Cale spoke. His voice was calm, steady, unshaken. "You say humanity will be forgotten. But you are wrong. Today, the stars will remember us forever. Because today, Earth does not kneel." And with those words, the final battle began. The Dominion fleet descended like a storm. Cannons fired beams larger than cities. Missiles streaked through the black. The void became fire. The Titanus led the charge, its massive cannon tearing through enemy lines. The Spartan and the rebuilt hybrid ships darted between giants, striking weak points, weaving like wolves among elephants. Pulse disruptors fired from hidden satellites, scattering Dominion formations, turning order into chaos. The battle was beyond anything humans had ever known. Whole ships were lost in seconds, their crews vanishing in flashes of light. Yet still, humanity fought. For every fallen ship, another took its place. For every death, the cry of "We do not kneel" grew louder. But the Dominion was endless. Their numbers seemed without limit. For every enemy destroyed, 10 more filled the gap. Slowly, the human fleet was pushed back. Then Cale saw it, the heart of the Armada. A colossal ship, larger than any before, the Dominion's true command vessel. It pulsed with energy, its core glowing like a black sun. This was the brain of the entire fleet, the monster that guided the invasion. If it fell, the Dominion might fall with it. But reaching it meant death. It was surrounded by hundreds of dreadnoughts and carriers. Cale looked around the bridge of the Spartan. His officers watched him, waiting for the order. He did not hesitate. "Then we take its heart," he said. The Titanus, the Spartan, and every surviving ship gathered for one last push. They knew the cost. They knew many would not return. But none turned away. The final charge began. The Titanus fired its supercannon, cutting open a hole through the enemy wall. The Spartan led smaller ships through the breach, weaving between dreadnoughts, dodging fire. Fighters swarmed, sacrificing themselves to clear the path. The fleet bled, but it did not stop. Closer and closer they came to the Dominion's heart. The colossal ship unleashed its fury. Entire human ships vanished in blasts of fire. The Titanus took hit after hit, its shields failing, its hull burning. Still, it kept firing, cutting deeper into the enemy. Finally, the Spartan reached the command vessel's core. Its weapons were gone, its shield shattered, its hull cracked open. Admiral Cale stood tall as alarms screamed around him. He knew what had to be done. "Prepare the pulse," he ordered. The final pulse weapon, the strongest humanity had ever built, hummed with deadly light. It would destroy the command vessel. But it would also destroy the Spartan. Cale sent one last message across every channel, to every human ear. Remember this. Humanity does not kneel. Not today. Not ever. The Spartan rammed forward, straight into the heart of the Dominion's command vessel. The pulse detonated. A wave of light burst across the void, brighter than the sun. The Dominion's command vessel shattered, its black core imploding. The shock tore through the entire fleet, ripping apart their coordination, shutting down weapons, breaking their will. Human ships, battered and broken, struck with everything they had left. The Dominion fleet collapsed, burning, scattering, fleeing into the dark. The war was over. On Earth, the people wept, shouted, sang. The names of the fallen, Yamato, Hannibal, Colossus, Spartan, were carved into history.